Hola todos, Michelle here with an update. It has currently been 3 years of starting Dreaming Spanish. So I started mid-September of 2022. And so I just completed my third year. I'm currently at 100, actually, I'm currently at 935 hours. And it's been quite the journey of using comprehensible input as my way of acquiring the language, which for me has been the biggest blessing, I'll have to say, watching a video and learning about someone who acquired the language through Dreaming Spanish. And for me to go check it out and see, like, what is this? Because I was doing grammar books. I was also taking lessons on italki, and that wasn't seem to be cohesive for me. Like, it wasn't easy per se. Like, I felt like there was a lot of resistance only because when I started taking the classes on italki, the teacher was speaking in only in Spanish, and I just didn't have the vocabulary or anything to really understand, and it just felt really frustrating. And so I started doing the Spanish grammar book to see, like, okay, what can I do there? And I'm just so grateful that I found Dreaming Spanish, mainly because just starting out with the videos, that there are adults talking about like adult things, and I can learn about different cultures and things like that. So it's been great in that sense. It hasn't been an easy journey, I will say that, because I do have moments where, things are not necessarily consistent. Like every day I'm getting the same amount of input or minutes or hours of input, and that can vary depend on the week, the month, the day, all of those, even a season or a quarter, like 3 months. It just all depends. Although one of the things that I have found that I just have learned that I just got to keep doing and don't focus on what didn't happen yesterday or last week or last month is to keep going. That's the main thing that I've focused on, is to keep going. And really that continues to motivate me. Even through this journey, I started having uh, Spanish lessons on Preply, and I was doing like two different teachers once a week with each teacher. So I had two different classes a week. And then recently I was ready to move on from one of my teachers, and I decided to work with this particular um, teacher 4 times a week. So probably since the end of July, I have been taking classes pretty much 4 to 5 times a week, just depending on if I have things going on that I can't make Monday through Friday. So my Monday teacher, he focuses more on like grammar and how to explain it and conjugations, really, because I feel like in the beginning, or even as I continued through this journey, even throughout the course of this year, before working with him, it was the conjugations that were a little confusing, and he's helped me understand them. And that's just kind of the way my brain thinks. I kind of need to wrap my head around it first. Um, because I am a question asker. Like, I'll be like, oh, but why is it like that? And then my wife will tell me, like, that's just the way it is. It's like the same thing in English. If someone asks you, something like, oh, why do you guys say that? It's like, I don't know. That's just what we do. That's just what we say. So I understand that. Although my mind is, I am oh, but why? Like, I want to learn the in depths of what's happening. So I've learned to relax on that. Although my Monday teacher, he's really good at coming up with different things, or even talking about lo suficiente, suficiente, lo suficientemente. So different ways to say like enough. And so he does a really good job. And I love that because I feel like that he has a passion for teaching and that he really takes it seriously. Like, he talks to me about like how he thinks about it, and how he can help. So I really appreciate that. And then my second tutor, his method is immersion. So he's going to speak Spanish and he expects me to speak Spanish back. And so for me, that has been really helpful because it forces me out of my comfort zone of having conversation. He comes up with different topics. He also comes up with different lessons too on just different topics within Spanish, or like the learning and grammar and things like that. But everything is done in Spanish. So that has been really helpful in terms of my progress. One of the things that I also noticed is that, with Dreaming Spanish, sometimes I was looking, I'm glad I started the podcast. I'm going to start with that because that was really helpful, because a lot of times there are topics or things that I actually want to watch the video for, and I just don't have necessarily in that moment, I can sit down and watch videos. Like, I really need to be listening to it because I'm kind of like moving and doing things. And so it's really helpful that they've had the podcast. I've also started to listen more now that they have the app on Android, which is really helpful, because I was doing a lot of YouTube videos, like watching YouTube videos, even Netflix. And so I have got back into my dreaming Spanish because I do enjoy it, and I love that counter that they have because I don't have to think about, oh, how many minutes did I watch on YouTube? What did I watch on Netflix? It's like they do it for me. So I really appreciate that. Although if I do watch something on Netflix or YouTube and I know the video was like 20 minutes long, but I know I zoned out for like 5 minutes, I do only put 15 minutes in the counter for the comprehensible input, um, minutes, hours, adding up towards my time. So that that has been helpful, but also feeling like I also want to hear like Spanish spoken at like just a normal tone, like a native level, and just hearing it go fast and not necessarily slow all the time. And so I can get a little mix of both, and I can also tune my ear into hearing it, speaks fast, all the sayings that are spoken in Spanish as well, and getting my ears tuned and even asking questions. Or now I can catch things really fast as well, and so I'll write it down in the Google Translate and be like, okay, that's what that word is. So it's helped, because, like I said before, I might not be able to catch certain words if I don't hear it, but it's been nice to be able to catch words. Although, like, native content is still, I'm not all the way at 100%, definitely not. Um, so yeah, just practicing more. And one thing that I've noticed, and this is why I really want to be more consistent in terms of like listening more consistently throughout the day, is because when I feel like I'm listening to input and I'm getting that input in, I feel like all of a sudden I hear everything in Spanish. Like I'm like, oh, I understand that. And then also it makes me want to speak it more. Like, I don't know, it just brings a confidence from inside of me to naturally want to speak Spanish. So that's my update as thus far. Am I speaking Spanish? Yes, I do practice speaking Spanish, with my wife, with my tutor on Preply as well. And then, just randomly, I do want to start to give myself a challenge, like something I can do on YouTube to like share like something every day where I'm speaking. That would be helpful because that's just what I do. I want to speak more. I got to speak more. I got to speak more. Could I defend myself? Probably. I'm pretty sure I think I can. I can defend myself. Am I like going full force at 100%? Probably not. But if I went out into the world and I needed to, ask a question or do something, could I defend myself? I would definitely say yes, I can. So that is my update. How are all you guys doing? What are some micro wins, macro wins? How is your Spanish or even different language journey going along for you? Until next time, ciao.